Previously on Game Together.
But they're from right around here, right?
Yes, two of the creators, the people who we talked to, London and I'm terrible with names, our other co-founder. I can't believe you're looking at me like we don't remember.
All right, Joe. You know what you did wrong. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
What's the next episode? Minis?
Minis.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Together, your hot destination for tabletop gaming on WDTN+. I'm Ben Jetron, and we are not painting minis alone today. We've also got with us Sartaj and Joe. Guys, how's it going?
I feel better now.
Yeah, how was the dungeon, Joe?
Yeah. That was my first question.
Hungry.
Yeah, I bet. You've been in the dungeon for 2 weeks. You
I didn't have any food.
didn't have any food. You had minis to paint.
No direct
I had
sunlight.
a
no
mini
direct
to
sunlight
paint.
or anything.
Oh, you had one mini to paint.
1 minute.
Okay. Well, that is going to be our fun topic for today. We are going to be talking, well, we have two topics, but our first topic is painting miniatures. So I've got some in my hand here because it's probably one of my favorite hobby pastimes when it comes to gaming. There's a lot of games that have a need for miniatures. So, you know, we've got some from, we got Zinvaded, which we talked about in one of our previous episodes, if you're interested in that. I've got one here from Star Wars Shatterpoint. We've got some Sabine Wren with a colorful, fun explosion. But I've got a bunch here. We're not going to go through literally everything, but the main purpose of it is there are a lot of games that have miniatures as a component to them. So you've got Dungeons and Dragons, you've got miniature war games, you've got skirmish games, you've got all sorts of different stuff that come with miniatures that either you need to assemble and paint, or that you can just hobby up in whatever way you want, whether it's a crucial component to the game or just a fun piece. There's a lot that is to be desired with painting, making things happy and fun. It's a lot of fun as to one part of the hobby.
What's another game like D&D or even board games maybe?
Yeah, D&D, board games, all sorts of stuff. Monopoly does not have any pieces to paint.
Thank God.
One episode per Monopoly reference there. But
I mean, you could paint the Monopoly things if you really
I
wanted
suppose you
to.
could. If you have the classic ones, they're metal, and that's a little more difficult. But if you've never painted a miniature before, or you have need of wanting to do that for a game, or you just want to try it out, it's super easy, super fun. You just need the right tools.
Sartaj, I feel like if you painted the metal Monopoly pieces, that those would be lead. And that
is true.
That might be a bad situation.
If they're old enough. I mean, you still could.
I mean,
That's the
still
beautiful
could.
thing is you can paint almost anything as long as you take the right steps.
That's true.
So obviously I've been painting for closer to, oh no, how many years is this now? Like
At least 6.
at least like,
At least 6.
well, yes, at least 6, because that's when Legion came out, which that's our other topic. We'll get to that. But I've been painting probably closer to maybe 13 years, maybe 12 or 13 years. So and when I look back at like some of the first things I've ever painted, it's like night and day. I'm like, I've done a lot of it. Joe, how about you? You got any painting experience besides the dungeon?
On and off, mostly off for probably about a decade.
Okay.
Got into it when I started playing games like D&D. Wanted to get some miniatures. Wanted to paint them. Did terrible at it because I didn't know anything about painting back then. I just was like, oh, let me slap some paint on.
I should have brought my first D&D model I ever painted, or at least had a picture or something. That would be a good comparison.
But I've painted a little bit on and off throughout the years. It's not something I do a lot of, but like I get the bug occasionally.
The bug is real.
Yeah.
Sartaj, how about you? Painting experience?
The last time I picked up a paintbrush was all the way back in high school when I was still doing cosplay, and I was creating a Code Geass cosplay of Zero. But that was the last time I held a paintbrush and actually painted. But I was close to getting into miniatures and painting when I was getting introduced to Warhammer. And I was thinking about making a Necron army. And I was thinking, oh, Necron, that's pretty easy. It's just two base colors, like, well, more than two, but you get what I mean. Green, gray, or anything like that.
Like a steel color and a green, and you're done.
Exactly. So I was close to it. I was close to starting my first like miniature painting thing. It's something that I've had in the back of my mind, but I'm not really sure if I would do good at it, but I feel like everyone always says that. I don't know if I'll be good at it, but when they start, to my understanding, then they start to get better and they start to get more confident, basically.
Are you someone who is like, yo, if I'm gonna get into painting, I should get like every paint color or just a giant set, or are you like, let me just get like the basics?
Are you asking me or Sartaj?
Yes,
Me. I
meant Sartaj really, but
but it's. I mean, for me, when I first got into it, I basically just got all the colors I knew I needed for my first project, and then steadily just started going on from there, because the kind of paints that you want to get are not necessarily like super cheap. You could use super cheap paints. I wouldn't recommend it. So
I've done that.
And you can, like I said, you can, if you just want to get paint on a thing and call it done, then you can do that. But
I would like to say that I got a majority through my painting career, if you could call it that, with Apple Barn paints that you can get at Walmart.
You can.
And I've done just fine. And then I got expensive paints. And
and then you did better.
I think I just unlocked a core memory, actually.
He's painted before. Hang on.
So no, I painted earlier than high school.
Oh, even further back. Okay.
Yeah. So I remember it's nothing major, but I remember my car was sideswiped.
Oh, you painted your car.
wait, what does this have to do with painting minis?
He just
I
painted
don't know,
it.
but
It's
you
just
asked
another
me
time
when
he's
was the last
painted.
time-
Okay,
When's
that's right.
the
That's
last
right.
time I painted, and I remember I had to go to like the any car dealership place, and I had to look at the colors because
Pick
my
out your
car
car.
color.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not blue. Apparently, it's graphite gray. It's blue. I don't care what anyone says. My car is blue, but I had to look and put it next to the scratch and be like, this looks like the right one. But yeah, so that was college Sartaj.
So there you go. That was after.
I want to ask, did you use a tiny brush, Sartaj, or did you just use a giant like paint brush?
I've locked more memories about this. I used a small brush and a bigger brush, and I was going to use the small brush to specifically only get the specific scratches. I got bored and I got like, this is taking too much time, so I just used this big brush and just swiped it across the scratches.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so miniature painting, if you actually want to get into it, now that we're 8 minutes in. So if you wanted to get into it, you wanted to do something with your miniatures, where are your first steps that you want to go?
You got to get paint.
You got to get paint. The number one thing you also need to get is primer. So here's an example. So obviously on the screen, here's an example. Army Painter is a really popular brand of miniatures paint.
Pretty affordable.
Pretty affordable as well. You can get Citadel as well. Citadel's the main one that I use, but I love Army Painter as well. I have a little bit of both. It's basically just kind of getting whatever you need for the occasion. So if you got one of these miniatures that you're sitting at with home, or you've got something that you got to assemble and you're ready to paint it, the first thing you really need to do after you're gathering that up is you need to prime. So a primer is the number one thing that you really need to do, because if you just start slapping any of these paints on any kind of plastic miniature, it's not going to stick. It's going to chip off at some point, and it's not going to stay. So you need either a black or a white primer, depending on what the colors are that you're doing. If you're doing something...
Or both.
You know, I've seen that's called the Zenithal highlight. You can spray. It's basically like a giant aerosol can. Not a giant aerosol can. It's a normal aerosol can. But all the paints are small, so it feels giant. But you basically would hold it like about arm's length away and give it some side swiping sprays. Do a black if you wanted to do like bright colors, make them pop. Or you could do a black all around. You could do a white from the top and then paint really thin layers to try and let some of those shadows come through. That's called the Zenithal highlight. I like to just prime my stuff white for the most part because I use a lot of... you can use stuff like contrast paints and stuff that's really thin, or Army Painters like speed paint or their new speed markers that they're coming out with. I would prime white and I would prime white for those because those are very thin.
That's what they say. Even with the spade paints, is just use white for that vibrant colors.
Then
how many coats do you usually do, by the way?
Of the primer, I typically
15.
can get away with one. No, just one. one
Just
thin
one.
one, as long as it covers it. From there, you would do your base coats. So you would get, that's going to be like the paints you saw on the screen there. And you would do, depending on the color you're doing, I would say until you just have a clean finish. So I would do one, maybe two coats. Actually, perfect example, these invaded guys right here. The orange armor. Light colors like orange and yellow take a lot of coats. If you ask miniature painters what colors they hate to work with the most, the answers are going to be white and yellow in most cases, because those paints just do not go on well. But you would go with your base coats. Your second step is going to be to get a wash. So this is if you wanted to get some more detail in your stuff.
Why would I wash my mini if
Not with water, Joe.
but then my paint's gonna be gone. I just spent all this
It's
hard
not
work.
Honestly,
No.
he's asking the right question.
I am. I'm
Because
just
your
asking
wash,
questions,
you think
man.
of just water.
Do not wash your miniature with water. What you want to do is get what's called a wash paint, which is basically a even more watered down paint that you can then apply over the miniature. All of it will kind of run down into the deepest part, the recesses of the model. The example I like to give is if you were painting like chainmail armor and you painted it like silver gray.
People paint their chainmail.
No, on a miniature, Joe. Come on.
okay.
Keep up.
I'm trying.
You paint chainmail, you'd paint it like a metal color, and then you would wash it with a black or maybe a brown if you wanted it to look dirty. But all of that would then go down into like the little divots that's in the chainmail. So you would have like it would look darker and then brighter. But that you can apply different colors. There's different colors of wash. Black is really popular. Brown's really popular. If you're doing a specific color of armor, you could do a specific color of wash. Go from there. The next step you would do after that would be to dry brush, which that's optional. You could call it done after a wash if you wanted to.
See, dry brushing, I know
Yeah.
from actual painting.
So then you can explain it.
So dry brushing is basically if it's the same as actual painting, and I say
It's
actual painting, is you basically take your brush, you get some paint on it, but then you try to get as much paint of it as you can off. Usually, maybe you use like part of your palette or just even a paper towel, and you'll take that, and what will happen is you are basically just pushing the tiniest bits of paint on it to create lines. It helps create texture. The best way I can describe it is if you were, say, painting wood. You wanted to give a wood grain texture on wood, which is weird to say, but you would use that dry brushing technique, and it helps accent that grain. It's really great if you're like doing musical theater or something, and you need to like really pop out like this is a wood structure.
The last thing that I would recommend to do for painting, if you really want to protect your models, is to get like a clear coat varnish, either something you would brush on. I would prefer something you spray on. I prefer a lot of like the clear coat spray-ons. Those will protect all the colors that you just painted and lock them in.
Can you prime and varnish multiple at a time if you're doing spray painting? Like just put them out on a piece of cardboard.
Oh yeah. I've done that before. I have like a long box that like would like several feet long that I just stick models on. If I have like a whole squad I want to prime all at once, I'll just take the box out there and then just spray along the entire line. But actually, speaking of entire squads, so in a nutshell, that was, miniature painting, the kind of steps you want to go through. Definitely check out online if you want on YouTube, several tutorials to go deeper into depth of what you want to do for those. But speaking of painting, now you're over here. Speaking of painting squads, the other thing that we're going to be talking about today, after we get back from the break, is a miniatures game of Legion, Star Wars Legion. So if you want to learn about wargaming on a tabletop scale, that's what we've got coming up. So we'll get back to that right after the break.
See ya. Hello and welcome back. I'm no longer in the dungeon. But if you want to know what we did in the dungeon, contact us at comments, requests, and questions.
For Game Together.
Game Together at WDTN.com.
So if you stuck around after the break and you were still interested in miniatures, I have one more tip for you. This is going to be your super secret tip to keep your stuff looking good. Thin your paints. It's the number one lesson you need to know.
I feel like that also increases like the longevity of your paint. Like you get more bang for your buck.
It's true, yes. But the number one thing, so look up what a wet palette is. It's basically just a little piece of like foam with a little clear sheet that goes over it. You wet that, stays wet. You can basically just water down your paints before you use them. If you take them out of the dropper bottle or out of the pot and you put them straight on the model, it's going to go on thick and it's not going to look good. Water it down a little bit, just a little bit, and then apply it.
So before we move on to Legion,
yes,
I do want a note on the traditional paint is like paint in a paintbrush. There literally is coming out today a new form of painting.
Whoa.
We mentioned it. It's Army Painter has markers now, essentially. I took the moment to contact them because I was like, hey, I got major questions here. Like, does it work as good as normal paint?
Yeah, when the first time I saw them, I had the same questions.
Yeah. So they did answer the email. They said it should last as long as actual paint, like a standard bottle, so long as you like cap your paint, your marker. There's extra tips in case things go wrong. You can watch the paint tips as well. So theoretically, it should work exactly the same as their speed paint, which is meant to be paint that can be done faster.
Awesome.
It seems like it runs around the same price. I'm not like saying go buy it or anything. I'm saying that there's a different medium available now that if you don't want to use a paintbrush, but you want to try markers, it might be something for you.
Could be quicker. Give it a try.
Could be quicker. We've not tested this at all, so we might
Maybe
see.
I will at some point. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm a little tempted by it, but there's a new option apparently. Yeah.
And talking about time wise, Ben, since you are the expert in this, what would you say? Well, two questions that I had.
Okay.
As someone that is very new
Sure.
to the world of miniature painting, my first question is, if you know what base colors, as we were just talking before with the Necrons, you have green and then you have gray. If you're a beginning painter, should you only get those colors or should you get all colors just to work with a variety of colors?
If you're beginning,
what your opinion?
if you're beginning, I would get the colors that you know you want to use for your model, and definitely get black and white as well. If black and white are not in the models of what you're getting, get those as well, because then you're going to be able to mix those and turn your greens into darker greens or lighter greens. Use stuff like that. All right, other question.
My other
two
question
questions.
was two questions right here. My other question was, I feel like a lot of people want to save time when it comes to painting, but this sounds like something where you have to take your time in. Is that correct?
It's as much as you want to make it. So if you want it to just get what we call a tabletop ready, where it's just like it's ready to go on the tabletop, it's got its colors, it looks good enough at the 3 foot. The 3 foot rule is the other one, where it's like you're going to be standing over the table for the most part when you have this thing. You're not going to be staring at it like super up close when you're using it. But if you wanted to just get it there and get it done, you could probably bang out a figure really fast. But if you wanted to really if you wanted to say paint something up and then enter it in a painting contest and win some kind of award.
Did that win an award?
This was one of my entries that won an award. If you want a refresher, check out our Dice Time. Check out our Gen Con episode. I'll mention what I just said in a moment. But check out our Gen Con episode also on WDTM Plus. But
Yeah,
if
but
you
wasn't
wanted to
that
do
like
that,
a participation trophy?
no, it was not. I got up to a good enough level to actually compete.
Sure.
But anyway,
Sure.
yes, that was part of my entry. If you wanted to do that, that took several hours. So yeah, you can really just put as much time into it as you want.
For that whole 3 foot rule thing, how long does painting a layer normally take? Like if you did a quick and dirty, how long does it take to dry?
The paints, if you use the actual tabletop paint, should we just save Legion for another day?
Maybe.
Maybe we just do that.
Honestly,
You know
Maybe
what?
we just do that.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll talk.
because
We'll,
I have some questions too.
Yeah,
that
we
I
got
can
more
ask
questions
you.
on painting. Let's just stick with painting.
we'll stick with painting. I'm
yeah.
going to still use the lovely video of Legion that was done by not me because I was in the dungeon. But I'm going to show because
There's more miniatures. in there.
Ben brought all the stuff for it.
Well, we'll talk about it on another day, so we can use this again. But yeah,
Sartaj can then see
More
what
miniatures.
happens when you spend too much time painting.
Yeah. No, I see all this and stuff. Like you mentioned, you can put as much time as you want into it. And I do see seeing it right now like this, it's sort of like that 3 foot rule that you just mentioned too.
Except now it's a 3-inch rule because of the zoom.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
those are the first ones I ever painted 6 years ago, and those are a little ago. But the rest of them are nice.
okay.
I like to think the rest of them are nice. So you asked me if you just wanted to get it 3 foot rule tabletop ready, slam some paint on it, and call it done. How fast can you do it? I mean, really, that comes down to how fast you want to do it, because you could. It depends on the intricacies of your model too. Like if you're doing a Necron, like Sartaj was talking about, you could literally prime that thing with a specialized gray primer. Let's say you didn't. Let's say you primed it black. You could throw a coat of steel gray over that in 2 minutes. That would take 3 to 5 minutes to dry. Then you could just go in with a little green, dot some eyes or dot some parts on your gun. You could be done.
Okay.
So you could get a whole figure done in 20 minutes. I'll never do that because I always want everything to look super grand and whatever. I'm not like so hard into the games, but I am hard into the hobby. So like I spend more time painting miniatures for games than I do playing them. And I'm okay with that. If I walk up to a table and my opponent is like, dude, your models look great, that's kind of my win. Like, honestly, I don't care how the game goes after that. As long as, if my opponent comes up and is like, dude, can I see your models? Like, that's it. Like, I don't care after that.
It sounds like, Ben, that you prefer to play solitaire
No.
in the sense of you like to paint.
No, because when you paint, then you want to get the thing on the table. Then you want to use it.
But it's solitaire because you're not painting with somebody. You're not painting one side of the tail and the other person's painting the head of the Necron.
Well, no. At that point, but is painting a game? You're
I
saying
mean, it
painting's
could
like
be.
a game.
We could time each other painting and see whoever paints it gets done painting.
They do
with it
those.
first.
They do those kind of competitions.
No, there are a bunch of competitions like that, and I know like a lot of conventions they have the free paint and take, which I didn't get the video of from other. Well, we've been at conventions where we see people do paint and takes. I know at Gen Con we saw people doing
they
it.
did it at Origins. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's fun to do. My partner, she literally spent like 4 hours at Origins when she and I went like back in 2019, just sitting there painting. One, it gave her just a nice chance to sit, but two, she just got to focus on painting for a very long time.
It's very therapeutic. It can be a therapeutic process.
Yeah.
It can also be an enraging process. It really depends on who
This
you
sounds
are.
a lot like golf. It's
Yeah,
either
there you
enraging
go,
or
yeah.
therapeutic.
That's a great way to look at it.
No, I was about to say, yeah. Golf, that's a really good analogy, actually. I was going to say, like, it's therapeutic because I get a therapeutic sense when I sleeve, like, cards or something like that.
Yeah.
This
This seems like it can be something, too, where you can just, focus on your painting and stuff. One question that I just thought of, have you ever had to repaint or reapply a coat of paint?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's say if
100%.
your figure were to, like, tip over, maybe it gets a little scuff on it. That's a situation, of course, where we would have to repaint, of course.
That or just a bad job painting to begin with.
That or you just did a poor job and you're like, man, I want to do better.
Like you didn't prime it.
But yeah, you totally do. And the beautiful part is you really could just go back over a model with some paint and then just clear coat it again. Or if you didn't clear coat it before and you were just like, actually, that's going to be part of it. If you clear coated your model, you almost never need to repaint it. If you use the right clear coat and you do everything right, you'll never need to repaint it because it will never get scuffed. Now, if you didn't clear coat it and you scuff it, the beautiful part is you really can just go back over it because after you applied the primer once, like it's there. So like you don't have to re-prime it or anything like that. You just go back over it, clear coat it again, or clear coat it for the first time maybe, and then you're good.
I feel like I need a counter that just says clear coat and how many times you've said clear coat.
Clear coat.
We'll have a counter in the bottom, like the bottom corner or something.
I'm not asking our editor to do that, Sartaj.
Right.
After the fiasco that happened last week.
Just saying. Also, so let's just say, I'm not talking about me. I'm not singling me out in this scenario. Just
Your
wanna make
friend.
that clear.
You got a friend named...
I have a friend. Let's say
what's your
he
friend's
has
name?
Never paint. Jot Ross. And don't spell that backwards. But let's say that he has never painted a miniature ever before in his life, but he would like to get into it. But he's a little bit worried about, like, he wants to start with something small, something easy.
Yes.
What would you recommend be the first entryway into the world of painting miniatures?
A gelatinous cube.
Well, yes.
Gelatinous cube.
I suppose you could do that. That would be a simple one. Actually, here's what I love, and this is a perfect answer for both what you wanted and for something else if you wanted to. If you have something that you just want to test paints out on, like you have a model, you want something that you just want to like try this paint out and see if it looks good, I have the perfect answer for you. The perfect model that you could either test paints out on or test painting out for yourself, miniature zombies. Because you can paint zombies any color.
That is true. That is true.
Any
That's
skin,
true.
any clothes, and you could even make the paint look ugly.
I'll
And
give
on
you,
a zombie, it looks right.
I'm going to give you a different option if you don't want to do zombies. Kobolds or goblins.
Those also can come in every color, so
They can.
they look right no matter what.
So basically, the things that you need to paint a million of.
Yeah, right. If you're a D&D player and you need a horde of zombies or a horde of goblins, yeah, that's a great thing to just test your paints and your colors out on. But yeah, zombies is definitely I always have some zombies nearby on my table that I can test some paint out on. If I'm like, I don't know how this is going to look, let me see what it looks like on them, and then just, color their legs or color their pants or something and be like, yeah, that'll work.
Let me ask this question, T-Bone. What are your thoughts on the pre-primed paints? Is this like when you go and get a cast iron and it's already pre-seasoned? Like, no, it's not actually pre-seasoned. You have to
they're like like the ones that say like pre-primed.
Yeah, like it's like a lot of the
Total
Whiz
lie.
Kids or
Total lie.
Total lie.
In my experience, absolute fabrication.
So it's very much kind of like those pre-season cast irons. You're like, no, you gotta season it yourself.
100%. Yeah, if I see any, because I tried the pre-prime miniatures and everything chipped off.
Okay,
all the paint chipped off.
Because
so
I know
if you
I
get anything
have.
that says pre-prime, ignore that. Just that doesn't exist to me.
In our video of the Army Painter one, there's literally I have a set. It's like a 2-pack, and it says pre-primed already.
Yeah, I ignore that now.
Okay.
All my experiences with them, they chip right off. So I'm like, no, I'm just gonna prime it myself.
So sad for you, Sartaj. That is not an easy escape. You still have to prime, apparently.
Still prime.
Yeah.
So prime.
My friend.
Your
who
friend.
might be-
No, I meant in
Charles
case
Ross.
you want. Yeah,
Ross,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna even.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a recap: primer, base colors, optionally wash, optionally dry coat. You also need paint brushes, maybe a palette that you could get with some water, like a wet palette or just a regular palette, water down to thin your paints. I think for clear coat. That's it.
Do you listen to like what do you do when you're painting? Do you like listen to a podcast? Do you watch TV? Do you listen to music?
Okay, all of those things different depending on what's going on. Most nights, my partner is next to me and we're watching whatever show we're watching at the time, and that's just going on in the background while I paint, and that is pretty much my happy place. Otherwise, I have some kind of live stream, like or if I'm watching a gaming stream or something like that, I'll put that on. I've just also put music on before. Like I said, that's part of the therapeutic process.
Okay.
Well, I think that's all the time. Yeah, I think we have for today.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it kind of is.
But that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. If you want to know more about Ben's painting techniques, please throw us a request,
Absolutely.
comment, a question. Tell us what your favorite mini is to paint, or what your favorite paint is, or paint brand, or any of that stuff.
Let us know down there in the comments. Game together at wdtn.com. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.